Good afternoon. My name is Lacey Weeden and I'm the Director of Parent-Friendly Programs at Georgia Tech. Thank you for joining us today for our webinar with the Alumni Association. I'm going to transition to our slide right now with the PowerPoint, and then we will introduce Emily and Abby from the Alumni Association. So just hold on one second. Okay, so I'd like to introduce you to Emily and Abby from the Alumni Association, who are going to talk to you about your students expanding their professional network. Take it away.
Awesome. Absolutely. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for attending. Like Lacey said, my name is Abbey Callahan, and I work here in the Alumni Association, where I'm coming to you live today, as is Emily. And we're just excited to be here and talk to you a little bit all about why the Alumni Association is here to support your students, and a little bit about what we do within the Alumni Association, and then also why it's valuable for you, for your students. So first, a little bit, wanted to give you a little intro about us. So my name is Abbey, and I've been with the Alumni Association for 5 years. Some of the things that I work with are listed below that I'll talk through a little bit later on. And then my coworker Emily will also be with us, and she'll be talking through some of our student programs that your students can jump in and get involved in right away. So thanks for having us. We're excited to be here, and we'll jump right in, Lacey, if we'll get to the next slide. So yeah, so thinking about why we're here, want to make sure, it might seem a little funny to talk to you about the Alumni Association, especially thinking about you having a current student on campus, and why we're talking about the alumni world, really right in the niche of when they're on campus and being an active student. So one, we just want to say welcome to Georgia Tech on behalf of the Alumni Association. We always talk about our Georgia Tech family and why we, as the Alumni Institute, are really out there talking to our students about the benefits of being involved with us, not only as an alum, but also a student, and we'll make sure to cover that today. So what we're going to talk about, oh my goodness, we are having a fire alarm in the building. I think they're just testing it, so we will wait until that hopefully goes away. But until then, I hope if you can still hear me, we will talk through sort of what happens at the Alumni Association, the different student groups that we have that your students could be a part of, and then also about mentorship and why we can get your students connected to alumni right now. So with that, we'll take questions at the end and hopefully get rid of this Yankee fire alarm and be able to talk to you a little bit more with a little bit quieter setting. So Lacey, we can move to the next slide. Okay, so the Georgia Tech Alumni Association is located right on campus. I'm looking out my window right now, and that is the football stadium. And we are really located on North Avenue right here in the heart of campus. So it's really nice to be able to stay connected to students. But really the things that we do, a couple of those include helping keep our alumni connected to Georgia Tech, really no matter where you are in life, whether you graduated last year, whether you graduated 40 years ago, we want to make sure that we find opportunities for you to stay connected to Georgia Tech, also wherever you are located, because we know that a lot of Georgia Tech alumni go and they don't just go, you know, a couple of miles away. Sometimes they go worldwide, they go across the country. So we really try and think of programs and opportunities to keep alumni connected to us through there. So a couple of those things that we do, we have mentoring that we'll talk about later in the presentation. We have alumni networks that we'll talk about a little bit, personal, professional development opportunities for our alumni to keep growing their professional skills and to also help our students grow those skills. We have some travel programs, and then we also have opportunities to host alumni back here. One of those might be included is homecoming, which we're celebrating this week. Another thing that we do is we help President Cabrera make decisions financially. So we raise money through a roll call, which is our Fund for Excellence, which is an unrestricted form of giving that we ask alumni to pledge their vote of confidence in President Cabrera and give that money to him. And a good example of how we use that funding is last year when students were relocated because of the coronavirus, we were able to delegate funding for President Cabrera to give to students in need. So we're really happy to be able to support students in whatever way that President Cabrera feels most adequate. So we'll move to the next slide, and this is kind of where I'll talk about some of our programs, and we'll also make sure you get the link to our website so you can explore more, because we've got a lot going on in the Alumni Association, and this is pretty much focusing on some of the things we do for alumni, and then we'll get into kind kind of what we do for our students here. So some of those things include our engagement department. So in our engagement department, we have all things that you can do with the Alumni Association. So one of those things I mentioned is our regional networks, which span all across the country, and we even have some international networks as well. So they host things that you might think of include our watch parties for our football games. We have student send-offs where the networks send off students to come to Georgia Tech before they come on campus in August. So thinking about how you find your Georgia Tech people in your neighborhood is one thing that we really make sure to encourage. We have some here local in Atlanta. We have some as far as California, and we really want to make sure that we're connecting Yellow Jackets all across the country. So the second piece is our affinity groups. Some examples I gave to you. We have our Black Alumni Network and our Women Alumni Network. Those are organizations that house those alumni that kind of come together on their similar identities. The Bar Network is actually not for people that like to go to the bar. It is actually a law group that gets together that are Georgia Tech alumni that want to come together and talk about their profession. And we have a couple other affinity groups as well that are forming sort of throughout the country, and we're thrilled to see that program growing and thriving. Some other things we have is a Young Alumni Travel Program and our international and domestic travel programs. We as staff and alumni lead groups of Georgia Tech alum all over the world. So it's really an opportunity for you to go see other places around the world with like-minded Georgia Tech people. We just had a completed trip to Antarctica this last year, and there is a picture of them all holding the Georgia Tech flag in Antarctica, which is pretty cool. So if you're one of those people that might want to check off some countries when your student graduates, make sure to get that travel information for them. Another thing that we do, and actually that I manage and would be happy to talk about more, is our young alumni programs. So we have a young alumni council of young 0 to 10 years out graduates who really put on programs and think programmatically about how we can engage our most recent graduates and make sure we're meeting their needs. Another thing those programs connect with is our 40 Under 40 program, which we launched last year, which is an alumni recognition program that we've really seen just astronomically grow and recognize some of the great things that Georgia Tech alumni are doing all throughout the world. And it's just a really cool opportunity for us to learn some of the great things that our alumni are doing throughout the country. The second piece is our events. So these are some things that kind of get our alumni back together. A couple of those things include our Pie Mile Road Race, our homecoming event that we do throughout the weekends in a little bit of a normal year. It's Homecoming at Home this year, which we'll have on our website as well. But really some of the big things that we do include our admissions forum, so alumni of Georgia Tech can bring their prospective students to learn about the admissions project of Georgia Tech and kind of how we go through that process. Another thing that we do is keep our alumni engaged. So things like our alumni newsletters, our alumni magazine, thinking about how we keep them engaged and share and spotlight all of the great things that our office is doing. And those are some of the ways that we do that and keep people connected. We can go to the next slide. So like I said, where are we? We're located on North Avenue at 190. We have a historical floor that really tells a lot of trinkets and fun things that kind of take people back to the old days when they come back to Georgia Tech. We also do alumni tours from this building. So this is where our alumni that come back for a tour would meet our student to kind of start and walk throughout the campus. And we also have a ballroom in the back of the building that's been able to host events and things for other students. And so that second window on the second floor from the left is actually where I'm sitting, and it's been really nice to have that view of North Ave. Next slide, please. So now kind of why this is important and why it's here for you all is we really want to make sure that you know how your students can be involved with the Alumni Association right now from the day they step on campus. So we're going to get into a little bit about the 3 student organizations that we have here in the Alumni Association and how your students can get involved with them now. So we'll go to the next slide. So the first organization is the Student Ambassadors Program. So the ambassadors also are the tour guides for the alumni base. So for example, if an alumnus wants to come back to campus because they haven't been in a couple of years and want to take a tour of Georgia Tech, this is how they would sign up to do that. And so really what these ambassadors do is they are the representatives of the Institute. So they work graduation, they work black tie dinners for the president, they work commencement, they work anything and everything that you can think where you would like someone representing representing the institute to be at. And so some of the things that we like to say about ambassadors is they are some of the best and brightest of the institute. They represent all kinds of different student organizations, majors. We have online students, we have professional development students, we have PhD students. We really have all kinds of students involved with ambassadors, and that process is open to all students to apply once they complete 1 full year at Georgia Tech, and that application process opens in January. So that's a great opportunity for them to meet alumni and really get an opportunity to meet other students on campus. So we'll go to the next slide. Okay, so the Student Foundation is really one of the most interesting organizations on this campus because their sole motto is really trying to teach students how giving back is important. So that's something that we as the Alumni Association want to educate our students on as they become graduates of the Institute, because we want them to sort of vote their confidence and give back to the Institute, but it's only successful if we can help them understand why giving back to an organization you believe in is important. So the Student Foundation does just that. You know, they help us understand what these student organizations do and kind of why funding and giving from our alumni is so important. So this is an opportunity for students to really get involved in philanthropy. They have tons of different opportunities to get involved, whether that be educating students on giving. It could be investments. We have an investments team that manages a $1.5 million endowment, which is the largest student-run endowment in the country. So we definitely attract the Wall Street students at Georgia Tech to this organization because it really is about moving and thinking about investments and how that works, how we funnel money back into the investment. So thinking about that organization is also a great way for your students to get involved. Next slide. And then finally is our Student Alumni Association, which is our largest student organization. And so through here, to join SAA is a $10 donation, which Emily's going to talk about in just a bit. And that really is also talking about that philanthropic support for our students. And so what SAA does is we have two really big mottos in mind. One is we really want them to learn about alumni and learn about the powerful things that alumni do for our students, whether that's through mentoring or through engagement or through giving advice to our students, and then also talking about that philanthropic support and why alumni are such a critical piece to that. So SAA is an organization that any student can join at any time of the year, and they redonate and rejoin every year. So Emily's going to jump in and kind of talk some more about SAA specifically, and then we'll talk some more about mentoring. Emily?
Thanks, Abby. And also just to note, we knew it was an alarm or just a false alarm for the fire drill. We're being safe, I promise. But luckily that turned off for us. We can continue our presentation. So hi, everyone. Like Abby said, my name is Emily Laurence. I've been at the Alumni Association. This is my 3rd year, and I advise the Student Alumni Association with another co-advisor. So Abby introduced SAA, but I want to jump a little bit more into what SAA is, what kind of programs we host, and then really touch on some really important aspects for your students, which include our virtual events this semester, and then our mentoring program. So as Abby said, to join SAA, it is a $10 donation, but what's really great is none of that money comes back to us. It does not fund our programs, it does not fund our t-shirts. We are completely funded by alumni giving back as well. So it's a cool cycle where our students get to experience these programs due to the generosity of our alumni, whereas their $10 donation goes directly back to students. So $5 of that donation goes to the Georgia Tech Student Foundation, which Abby explained. And GTSF does a really awesome allocations process where they allocate money to student organizations on campus. So really getting to support your current student body and these new adventures that they're going on. The other $5 then goes to roll call, which Abby also explained. And so it's been really awesome for the students to be able to give back directly, especially through this COVID relief fund, but really investing in the Institute and its future. All right, then go to the next slide. So to talk about kind of some of our programs that we do, as Abby said, one of our main goals of SAA is this Alumni Connections piece, and really educating our students on how important building your professional network is while you're now here on campus. Because a lot of these connections have really helped students once they graduate, getting help with internships and jobs or just general life advice. So our Alumni Connections pillar has 5 different programs. And each one really specifies on a certain topic. So for our engaging with notable alumni, we have experts that come back to Tech in virtual world now, but they talk about what they did at Tech and how they got to where they are. So we've gotten some amazing CEOs and VPs of really big companies who are able to come back and talk to students. Additionally, we have our program called Get Ready for the Real World, and this is where we educate students on topics that they don't typically learn in the classroom. So this can be campus partners come back and talk, or alumni come back and talk to students. And we've had a large variety of programs, whether it's taxes and finances, to doing self-defense classes and etiquette dinners. So just kind of everything you wouldn't learn in the classroom. We also have a program called Jackets on the Job, where if we were, still in person, so in past years, we'd actually go visit local companies. We're very lucky that we're in a great city of Atlanta that has the home to a lot of huge companies. So you can see the picture there from Coca-Cola. But students actually get to behind the scenes look at a day in the life of an alum who works at these companies and get to actually network and meet with them and learn about internship and job opportunities. We also then have our Dinner Jackets program, and this is our most intimate program besides our mentoring one-to-one program, but this is where alumni and students meet for usually a casual dinner, and it's just really to talk about, life and just to get that general advice. But our final program is our Mentor Jackets program, which I'm going to talk a little bit more extensively about in the next couple slides. But if we move to the next one. The other piece of SAA that's really important is celebrating our graduating students. As Abby said, we are housed within the Alumni Association, so SAA is really trying to help transition your students to active alumni. So SAA hosts a couple different signature events for each semester for graduating students, including our grad cap decorating. We have a great graduating student photo shoot where we get professional photographers to take pictures of your students with Tech Tower and with the rec, just some great memorable photos. And finally, the Alumni Association puts on a big graduating student celebration called Ramblin' On, which in normal years is held at Bobby Dodd Stadium. We have fireworks and food, and it's just a great way to celebrate your students' accomplishments. So like I said, we really want to welcome our students to the Alumni Association, but we also want to educate them on how to stay involved after graduation. As Abby said, we have amazing programs that alumni can participate in. So it's really SAA's goal and mission to educate our students on how to stay active and connected back to tech after they graduate. All right, we'll move to the next one. So what's really important, I think, for us to go over is kind of how have we adapted to the COVID and to this new virtual world that we're in. We really think that our programs are super useful to students, both in person and virtual. So that was a lot of conversations, as I'm sure everybody was trying to figure out this virtual world. And this is how we ended up moving to the virtual world for our programs. So all of our programs are being held virtually just for the safety of both of our students and our alumni. But as we say, your students don't have to leave their couches to attend and meet these awesome alumni. They can just stay there and listen in and really get connected from the safety of their own home. So our biggest one is our Mentor Jackets program. So now you can meet with alumni all over the world and have your Zoom calls or just email, texting, making it a little bit more informal that way. But like I said, all of our programs and all the things I talked about in the last couple of slides of that connection piece, we're doing virtually. So talking to alumni about their experiences, about their jobs, about skills they've learned in the real world. But the amazing part actually about this semester and now with us being in the world that we're in is we've had so many alumni actually reach out to us about wanting to support students. So I think we're hosting more events than we've ever held now just because all of these alumni want to give back to students. And we've really been able to place some great alumni to give back and to talk to students just about their lives. Great, so I'm going to jump now into Mentor Jackets. So Mentor Jackets is our largest program run through the Student Alumni Association. And this is our one-to-one mentoring program. It was developed to connect Georgia Tech students and alumni through mentorship. We typically have anywhere from 500 to 1,000 pairs depending on the year. But it's amazing that all of those alumni have signed up kind of to give that one-to-one feedback and support to students. And students actually get to select their own mentor, which is awesome. We think that they get to best pick who they're looking for. So they're able to sign into a pairing portal where they can see different mentors' profiles and pick a few mentors based off of job function, industry, major, even locations. Say if somebody wants to move to California after graduation, we have alumni from all over the world that they can talk to about that move. But also our mentors list professional skills or personal hobbies that they have. So we're really trying to help connect students to alumni just based on a lot of different options and letting the mentee really decide what their priority is when selecting a mentor. We also have a team that then focuses on that impactful relationship aspect of the program. We really don't want our mentors and mentees to just feel like they're another number in a large mentoring program. We want to make sure they have the resources and the support that they can get to make sure that it is a successful program. And listed there, those are all of our kind of goals for our mentors and mentees. So helping grow professionally and personally, getting advice on academics, adjusting to life at tech or preparing for life after tech, and especially that big piece of expanding your professional network. We've had so many mentors that even have connected their mentees to other alumni. So it's just a really great opportunity to at least make that one connection that could really open the door to a lot of other opportunities. We'll go to the next slide. So just to give a little bit more information about our one-to-one mentoring. So Georgia Tech students, like I said, are paired with alumni. It is a year-long process. Registration is open right now and pairs are already getting selected right now. So we start pairing in August and students have until December to select their mentor. And once they select their mentor, they have that alumni mentor for the whole academic year. Our program more officially closes in the April time, but students are encouraged to continue that relationship post the official program as well. And it's really up to the students and their mentors to decide how they want to foster this relationship. So they get a mentoring agreement after they are paired and they decide on how often they're going to communicate, what method of communication they want to use, and then they also start setting some goals and some action items on how they're going to get there. So they can develop the partnership through, in other worlds, face-to-face interactions. We're not encouraging that this year, but in other years that has worked for our in Atlanta mentors. But also we try to give opportunities electronically. And then just also we have lots of programming exclusively for our mentors and our mentees. As I said, they are expected to set expectations, and that really just helps start a mentorship off well so that you have those expectations set and you can move from there and just start growing. And then we definitely have a great pile of resources and different webinars and events that are really there to support our mentors and mentees, whether that's getting campus partners to speak on different topics that might be how to support your student during COVID or how to support your student during resume building, or just to talk through, a mentor coming back to talk about their time. We just try to have those resources ready to go for our students in case there are any questions or they don't know what to continue to talk about after the first couple months. All right, we'll move to the next slide. I love sharing this story. I think it's really great to show a success story, especially kind of when talking about mentor jackets. And this is one of my more recent favorite ones. Zach is actually on our leadership team for the Student Alumni Association, and his mentor, Scott, last year, Scott was on our board of trustees at the Alumni Association as well. So super great involved mentor. But not only did Scott help Zach with his academic questions and just kind of future goals, but Zach wanted to start a student organization on campus, and Scott gave him the tips and tricks to help recruit active members, connect with other alumni to help with the organization, and just be there to help Zach whenever he needed it too. And I also heard an awesome follow-up story from these two because they're not technically a mentor-mentee anymore. However, one of Zach's friends was looking for a quick resume review, and Zach reached out to Scott, and Scott was more than willing to also help support this other student as well. So we have these mentors who really care about the students. They want to give back, and we hear all the time that alumni wish they would have had this program while they were on campus. So they are so excited to be able to give back and to support the students now as a mentor. So registration is open now, like I said, so please encourage your students to join if they're looking for that alumni mentor. Anybody can participate, from our first year students to graduate students to PhD students. Especially for our graduate and PhD student, we always are looking for alumni who also graduated from those programs. So we're trying to recruit from all majors, all industries, to really help our students find somebody who they can really connect with and work with. And this is our website here, but our website will also be listed later if you want to learn more. I'll move to the next slide. So I'm really excited to introduce this. Abbey didn't quite introduce it. She had it in one of her slides. I wasn't sure she was going to introduce it, but we have an awesome new platform that is coming to Georgia Tech from the Alumni Association, and we are so excited to start talking about it. It is called Georgia Tech Connect, and it is from a platform called People Grove, but basically it's this brand new platform that will give a wide variety of options for students and alumni to connect with one another. It will help with alumni to connect with one another all over the world. But the idea is that everyone who signs up has a different profile, and you can search for a quick alumni mentor based off of location, again, or major industry. If they have a question about resume reviews, we kind of ask all that when people sign up. And students are able to search through this catalog of alumni who have volunteered their time to support students through either a quick connection or our Mentor Jackets long-term mentorship will also be moved to this platform next year. But the idea is that this platform really fosters that communication. Some feedback we'd always gotten about our Mentor Jackets programs and just kind of our programs in general is it's really hard to make sure that our peers are communicating with one another and making sure that they still feel like their mentorship is working, or they haven't had as many chances to give us feedback about the mentorship. And this platform is really going to help us solve these problems while also giving even more resources to our students and to our alumni. So students can join, while they're still here at Tech, and then they also can move to being an alum on this platform and use this platform for professional development, videos and programs. There's going to be volunteer opportunities. Our job board is moving to this platform. It's really a one-stop shop for both our students and our alumni to get connected to different programs and to different resources or opportunities, and then also to get connected to other alumni and students as well. So this platform is opening to alumni very soon, but then it's going to open to students in the spring semester. So we're excited to do a big full launch for our students in the spring semester, but wanted to kind of highlight this as we're super excited to be announcing this and how great of a platform it is. All right, if we want to move to the next slide. So you're hearing all about SAA, you're hearing about mentor jackets. It's kind of like, what's the next step, right? So how to join SAA, our website's listed right there. We also encourage y'all as parents, or encourage your students to follow us on social media. We're on Facebook and on Instagram, and that's a great way to stay up to date with all of our current events. But for students to actually join and to donate their $10 and give back to the Institute and then get access to all of our programs, they can just go to that website right there. This is our awesome new t-shirt that we have. We're celebrating our 10-year anniversary, so we're going to do some big celebrations in the spring semester to celebrate that. But all of our students do get a t-shirt when joining. We have a couple t-shirt pickup days to make sure it's as safe as possible. But just wanted to highlight that as well. And I think we're wrapping up our official slideshow here. We would love to answer any questions about any of the programs that we talked about, or just any questions about the Alumni Association, or we could try answering questions about Tech. Abby's been here a little bit longer than I have, so she might have some better answers. But thank you all so much for listening, and please, we'd love to answer any questions now.
Great. So thank you both very much. And families, I see we do have some questions in the chat box. So I'm going to just kind of go through those, and feel free to keep writing those questions in. The first question we have is, and you can just tell me, Abby or Emily, who wants to take it. Is there a way for a parent who is not an alum to become a mentor if they own a business, or perhaps is there a way for them to, it says, or can we recruit, or is that with the Career Center?
Yeah, I can take the second piece of the question. Emily can speak to sort of what we do with that. But I think what we typically do with that sort of recruitment opportunity is we have one opportunity through the Alumni Association, which is called JacketNet Jobs, for any business to be on to help recruit, whether that is students or alumni. So we absolutely have that within house. And then the Career Center on campus also is really the go-to for recruiting students, especially with the career fairs each year. They're the ones that we really push businesses looking to hire specifically students to. And so through our mentorship program, we do ask that it is for an alumni to student relationship. And so we do have that specifically marked just for alumni of Georgia Tech. I don't know, Emily, if you have anything to add to that.
No, and I think I'd have to double check, but I think on Georgia Tech Connect, we are doing like a friend of the Institute login too. So I think there is a way to still join that platform and post jobs and do things like that. But like Abby said, mentorship is more of an alumni to student connection.
Yes.
Okay, great. When did you say the student ambassador application was due? I think there was someone who was interested in that.
Yes, absolutely. So that application will open November 9th, I believe, and all students will get an email as well. And so they will get an email, the application is open, and I believe it is due in late January. We just pushed it back to match the school delay deadline for when classes start. So I believe it's around January 20th is when the application will be due.
Okay, great. I know their student ambassadors are very popular on campus, and they love that role. So that if your students are interested, definitely encourage them to apply. Is the application or sign up process open now to get a mentor in December, or is it in August?
Yeah. Great question. So it is open now. So students do need to join SAA first to then register for Mentor Jackets. So I recommend going to the SAA website first and joining there. And then there's also the Mentor Jackets website that's listed on that last page of our slideshow, and we can also put in the chat for you. But applications are open now, and then they will close for a mentor in December. So it's also first come, first serve for our students. So we highly recommend getting into the platform and selecting your mentors as early as possible.
Okay. A parent is asking, what is the job board?
Yeah, so JacketNet Jobs, I'm just looking at my other screen trying to find a link there. So I'm happy to, is there a way, Lacey, for me to provide just a link to the career website?
Yeah, you can just put it, it's in the chat box where it says the
Okay.
there's a little question mark. You can just put it right below that question. What's
Perfect.
the job board? Is that for alumni to post a job and then students can apply for the job?
It's more so for alumni hiring alumni. For students, we definitely direct that for the Career Center because they're more focused. But this is for alumni if they're interested in hiring alumni, yes.
Okay, great. And if my student is reserved or introverted, are there any tips on convincing them to get a mentor? It would be good for, probably be good for the student to do it. Any suggestions on how for a family member to encourage their student to apply?
That's a fantastic question. And it's very hard, like on a mentor profile, to also put like, say, personality traits, right? Like you'd almost want to have somebody who could help and support with that too. But I think the best way to, convince them or talk to them about it is through the mentorship program. It is just a one-to-one conversation, and it's not like I'm there, it's very low key. And I think our mentors are really receptive to that too, is if your student likes to say, I would rather just email, or I'd rather just text. Like if it's something where you don't want to hop on a phone call and just kind of ask questions through an email, a lot of our mentors they understand that they're there to support students and really make sure that they feel comfortable in the relationship and can support them in any way possible. So I would just say that it's really up to the student and the alum to figure out what's going to work best for their relationship. But it is just that one-to-one connection. It's not like they need to present about their mentorship in front of their class, like, in some other cases. But yeah, I think our mentors are really receptive to that. I'm also happy to, we have resources too. For example, like our initial conversation guide, where we even like prompt the student of like, what can I ask my mentor? Like say if they just don't know how to start the relationship. We've got some great resources that can kind of help guide conversations too, if they're just nervous about talking to a mentor or not sure what to ask about too. So also, if your student wants to reach out to me, I'm happy to kind of share those resources or tips or whatever too. But just know that the mentors are really there to support the students.
Great. I love that you have resources of here's how to start talking to your mentor. That's great.
Yeah. Well, especially we hear from students like, I don't know how to start this conversation, or, we get midway through the year and they're like, I don't know what to talk to my mentor now about. We did the resume review. We did this and that. So go out throughout the year that kind of helps continue that mentorship and educate on how a mentorship should be more long-term versus like, I just need help with this one thing, that it's somebody you're connecting with and hopefully will have kind of in your future as there to support you.
Right. So like a roadmap of
exactly.
Kind of, that's great.
Yeah.
So our last question, and families, again, feel free to drop any other questions in the chat. Is it too early to have a mentor your first year?
Oh, absolutely
not. When's the best time to do that?
Yeah, and what's also really great about Mentor Jackets is usually you only have your official mentor for 1 year, and then we say you can unofficially keep that mentorship going. But what's awesome is you could get a new mentor every year you're at Tech as well. And so you're increasing your network by that many more people each year. So we highly actually recommend that our first year students go in and get a mentor, just because, our alumni can talk to them about how to adjust to Tech, or talk about class selection too. And so, like I said, our mentees get to select priorities when they're signing up, whether that is age is another one. So if they're looking for a recent grad too to talk to, or somebody who's a little bit more established, or somebody in their major. So we have a lot of first year students. Honestly, I think maybe about like 30% of our mentees are first year students. And then they see the benefits after that first year, and then can continue to get different mentors each year as well. So we recommend you start as soon as possible so you can have as many mentors as possible while you're at Tech.
Great. Emily, before we go, are there any last things and words you want to share? And then I'll hop over to you, Abby, for that as well. Anything you want to share with the family? Oh, looks like we got another question. Hold on. Let me get that one, and then we'll do the last question here. Not sure if this is applicable here, but do you know of any, it says sibling discounts for alumni? So that we'll answer that in the chat box. So any last thoughts that you want to share?
Yeah, I like to tell a story, especially to parents. When I got this job and told my mom that I was doing a mentoring program, she was like, why doesn't all schools have this, right? Like, she was super excited about it. And I think just from a parent perspective, that's just a fun story to tell, that she's always so excited to hear what I get to do, and I get to tell her all these awesome success stories between our mentors and mentees. So at least it's my mother approved program. But yeah, I would just say I think it's really important for students, and this is something we're trying to do a little bit broader, and we're hoping with Georgia Tech Connect we can reach a broader audience, but just educating on how important mentorship is, and just understanding that these tech individuals, we already have almost 400 mentees signed up, or mentors signed up for this year, and they're looking for that one-to-one, that really support, digging in deep, committing to this mentorship for the whole academic year. And we just have so many of our leadership team members, or just I hear from more random, students that are just like, this really helped, in this specific situation, or, I even went back to my mentor after 2 years later to talk to this, them about this, that, and the other. So just, I hope that their students understand how much the alumni want to give back, and this program is only successful because of our awesome alumni too. So we're just looking for students to really honestly take advantage of the opportunity. But I always tell students too, if they want to reach out to me individually, I love helping find mentors for students. If they can't find somebody in the pairing portal, I like to kind of give that personal touch to it as well. So if they ever have concerns or just want to learn more, or even hear from student leaders more about their experiences, I can definitely connect them, or talk to them myself as well.
Great, thank you. Abby, any last words that you want to share?
Sure, yeah. I think for me, it's, going through college as a student you had all kinds of opportunities, and it was almost overwhelming to know where to plug in and where to spend your time, because you do have the responsibility of, your studies and your classes and maintaining good health and things like that. And so I think as a parent, the only advice that I think I could give is the student involvement piece. I feel like is such an opportunity, and it looks very different in the world we're living in, but I think helping your student find that opportunity to get involved in something that feels a little extracurricular, whether that be a Greek letter organization or the Student Alumni Association, or a student assistant even working for an office on campus. I really think that helps a student get connected and kind of feel a little bit more involved in the institute, in addition to just their studies and what they're here to do. So however you can support that student in finding that extra something to get involved in and to meet people and to make connections, I think is just huge. And I think that's why Emily and I love this Alumni Association role that we play, is because we get that opportunity to do that with our students, but we also get that opportunity to continue helping those connections move along in the alumni world. So let us know, please, how we can support your students. We're always here. I know we work at the Alumni Association, but our job day in and day out is really supporting students. And so that's why we wanted to talk to you today and how we can be with your students. So let us know, like Emily said, how we can help.
Great. And I saw that a parent asked a question. I saw you answered in the chat box. What are the cities that have the biggest tech alumni base? Seattle, Houston, New York, Atlanta, Savannah, San Francisco are some of the largest alumni-based cities. That's great to know. And we do have alumni all over the world. Yeah. I traveled to India and the UAE a few years ago for work for tech, and we had some alumni events while we were out there. So that was great. Yellow Jackets are all over the world, so ways to get connected. So yeah. Thank you both so much.
Of course.
For joining us today.
Absolutely.
So I thank you, families, for joining us today. We will be recording this and sharing it by tomorrow afternoon. About this time, it usually takes us 24 hours to get the recording on our website, which is parents.govtech.edu. Then go to the Stay Connected tab and then scroll down to virtual recordings. You'll also see all the recordings that we've done this semester. Next week, join us for Fall Family Appreciation Week. We have lots of events going on virtually. Dean Stein will be talking to families next Tuesday at noon. We also have some family chat sessions going on next week. And just for fun, if you're available, we'll be doing a movie with SCPC, which is our Student Center Programming Council, in Bobby Dodd on Friday night at 7 o'clock. We'll be watching Thor. So it's a great time to come to campus, actually, get some dinner, take your student to grab something to eat before the movie starts at 7. More information will be sent to you about that. Thank you so much for joining us, and go Jackets. Take care.
Bye.